Good morning, everyone. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and we are back for another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So, the first thing I want to talk to y'all about is lawful permanent residence. When you have lawful permanent residence, you get a green card. So, a lot of people think of it as green card status, which is also fine. We just had a Supreme Court decision that essentially says, I will skip all the legal mumbo jumbo for you, but it essentially says that CBP officers in the airport or at a land border, if you're driving into the US, can treat you in some senses as though you don't already have a green card, as though you weren't already approved to be here in the US. And what does that really mean? So if you are a green card holder, and you have a pending criminal case, you're arrested, maybe you're waiting for trial, maybe you're in the middle of trial, pending, but it's not resolved, it's not done. You are not done with your criminal lawyer, you are not done with the judge, it is pending. And if CBP finds that, they see that as you are entering when they run your passport, they can treat you as though you kind of don't really have a green card. Is that as though you are someone who is, for the first time afresh, trying to enter the US. What does that mean? That means they can prevent you from entering, they can detain you and hold you, and start, sort of a process that places you into deportation proceedings. So this is a pretty serious decision that came down from the Supreme Court, the consequences of the decision. So if you are a lawful permanent resident, if you have a green card, and you also have a pending criminal charge, one, I would absolutely recommend that you speak to an immigration lawyer. Two, at this point, I would recommend that you not travel internationally until you've had a conversation with an immigration lawyer to find out what may happen when you try to re-enter the US. Because to be very clear, I tell my clients this all the time, nobody likes to talk to me when they're in the airport. That's probably the worst time for someone to try to have a conversation with me in the airport, because it is a high stress situation. You are alone, your attorney is not with you, and so you're not quite sure what's happening. So prior to potentially being in that situation, if you are a green card holder, especially if you have international travel plans already in the works, and you are in the middle of a criminal case, I would have a conversation with an immigration lawyer. The next thing I want to talk to y'all about is the H-1B cap. I know I haven't mentioned it in a couple of weeks, but the H-1B season, we're going to say that it's officially over. All individuals that were selected in the lottery, their full H-1B applications needed to have been filed by June 30th. We will not know, most likely for a couple of weeks, if the Immigration Service feels that it needs to run a second lottery. They only run a second lottery if they feel like they don't have enough applications in-house to get them to their mandated numbers of 65,000 for regular cap and 20,000 for master's cap. But again, there is no guarantee, absolutely no guarantee that there will be a second lottery. So if you are that person out there who was not selected in the lottery back in March, and you are holding out for a second run of the lottery that you will be selected in, I would say you are now past time to develop your plan B, to meet whatever goals you may have from an immigration perspective. And if you haven't started looking at your plan B, now is the time to absolutely do that. But all of our H-1B cases should have been filed by June 30th. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is exit control. So I feel like sometimes CBP doesn't really get a whole lot of announcements on my Monday mornings. So back to CBP. there was a rule that came out December of last year that talked about exit procedures. So when you're leaving the country, what will happen to you? What does that process look like? Other than scanning your passport and saying goodbye type of deal. CBP now has exit procedures in place, which can include taking your biometrics on your way out of the US. So most of the times people think about biometrics when they are here in the US and they're taking biometrics. Typically it's going to be for a green card application. And biometrics is photo fingerprints. Now that can be part of your exit process when you are leaving and you are running your passport with immigration, CBP in the airports or at land borders or at sea, borders or what have you. So anytime you're leaving the U.S. now, you may be subject to an exit process. So just keep that in mind. It's not something that I think people need to freak out about, but it is something that they are putting in place, and I think it will kind of spider out across various airports and whatnot and land borders. So that's all I have for y'all this beautiful Monday morning. If you have any questions about exit processing and H-1B plan B for your H-1B, and what it means to travel internationally, if you have a criminal case that is in process, feel free to reach out to our office. We are happy to help you with that. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday and a great rest of your week. Bye.